Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am extra excited about this episode because this is actually part one of a two-part video series I'm going to be doing on framing. Now, picking the photos to put in a frame and to put on your wall to look at every single day is not an easy task, and that's exactly what this video is going to be about. And the second video is all about installing those frames on your wall and how I am going about doing that. If you see these brown pieces of paper on my walls right now, that is all a part of the process. So I am installing frames in my studio in real time. So I'm recording these as I am doing them. If we haven't met yet, hi, I'm Kayla Brent. I'm a motherhood photographer and founder of Mom Photography School, where I teach moms to take gorgeous everyday photos of their kids. And I'll be the first to admit, the first thing I do with photos after I take them is edit them and then post them on social media. But that's not why I take the photos. I take the photos to put them on the walls to see them every day and to put them in albums to enjoy for generations to come. But putting them on the walls is a huge, huge commitment. We're literally going to see these images every day. So how can we go about doing that? That is exactly what I'm going to be tackling in today's video. If you struggle with choosing the images to frame and put on your walls, let me know below. And while you're in the comments, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my YouTube channel for all the mom photography tips and mom hacks. So like I said, this part one video is going to be all about choosing the images that you are going to frame. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about what I'm doing to make wall galleries in my studio. Right now, I have 3 wall galleries. I have the one that you see behind me, one in front of me, and then one over there. And I will be showing you more of that when I am installing it in part 2 of this series. So the very first thing to consider when you are going to frame photos is to look at the colors that are in the images. If you look on Pinterest or you even Google wall galleries, you will notice that there's a whole lot of black and white wall galleries. And this is because black and white images look good in any room with any decor. It matches almost anything. So turning the images black and white is a really good idea because it will look good in any decor setting. I like to reverse engineer this when it comes to putting frames on my wall and putting pictures on my walls. And how I do that is I think of the photos that are gonna go on my walls even before they're taken. I dress my family and my kids in clothing that I know is going to match my decor. So for me personally, that's neutrals. And so I want to have a neutral color palette that we're wearing in the image. And a way this can go wrong is if, say, you also in your home, you have a neutral color palette and there is a picture of your daughter and she is in a bright pink dress. That might not be the best photo to frame and put on your wall unless you were just looking for something that is very high contrast and is going to stick out like that. But for most situations, for me personally, I really like to keep things where they match. That kind of flows better and it's not distracting. Okay, so now you have these photos, you are in love with them, you know that the colors are gonna look good on your wall. Now we need to talk about actually putting the frames on our walls. What size do we need to order? This can be for if you're doing one frame or you're doing multiple. If you're doing a wall gallery or just one, I highly recommend you do this. And that is order some craft paper off of Amazon. I'll link below what I use, but order some craft paper and cut out the size you think needs to go on your wall. So just like I've done back here. I took those out. I was like, these are 12 by 12s, and I put them on the wall to see if they look good. And what oftentimes happens is you realize that you actually need to go bigger. And there's nothing worse than spending all this time and all this money, and then you get it on the wall and you think, man, I wish that was bigger, or man, I wish that was smaller. So to avoid this, take the craft paper, cut it out to the size you think it needs to be, and put it on your wall. And something that I've even done is I've let it stay there for several days before ordering it, so I can kind of look at it, see if it really is the right size, and then once I'm like, okay, yes, I love it, then you can move on to the next step in the process. This leads me perfectly to the composition of the photo. Now, this is particularly for if you are doing a wall gallery. So when I talk about the composition of the photo, I mean where the subject is in the photo. Are they way far back? Are they super close up? And what you want to do in a wall gallery is to have the compositions vary. So you wouldn't want to have two photos that are beside each other that are both zoomed out, or two that are both zoomed in. Try to change it up. This just looks way more pleasing to the eye. And if you are one of those people who can't visualize this in your head like me, and you need to see it before you order it, you need to use my favorite tool, and that is Canva. Canva is a free app. I will link it below, and it is a lifesaver for so many things. I've designed invitations for my boys in Canva. I do a ton professionally and personally in Canva, including designing the wall gallery. Now, in Canva, there are these things called grids, and the grids are different photo frames, and you can drag and drop your different images into those frames. So say you have 3 on top, 3 on bottom. You can choose a grid that has 3 on top, 3 on bottom, 6 in all. And you can drag your images into that grid and see exactly what it's gonna look like beside each other. This gives you the opportunity to see it as a whole and decide if you want to change things up or maybe replace a photo completely. So there you have it. This is part 1 of a 2-part video series all about framing, and this is the very beginning. Choosing the photos and choosing the frames and the size of the frames that are gonna go on your walls. Like I said, I'm doing this in real time with you guys, and I actually just got my frames that I ordered from Nations Photo Lab, and I love Nations because they have really high quality frames, and the best part, they print the images and put them in the frame for you. They come really beautifully backed, and I'm going to show you the frames and all of that in the part 2 video, so make sure that you watch that next. Again, if you haven't already, make sure that you hit the subscribe button below, and I will see you in the next video.